things I want to talk to y'all about. First and foremost, I got Giancarlo and I got Pratt in the house, and we're here to talk part 2 of the NBA Finals and how we think this finals is going to wrap up and how to make of everything moving forward in the NBA. Secondly, I finally get to talk some hockey. That's right. Stanley Cup is going on too. So I got to talk about that and dive into what I've seen so far in this great finals matchup between the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. And thirdly, I go solo again and I talk about the state of USA soccer. Yes, they were able to draw with Brazil last night, but with the Copa America coming up and the World Cup around the corner, where does Greg Berhalter, who I have a bone to pick with, trust me, you don't want to miss out on what I got to say about Greg Berhalter, the state of the USA men's national team moving forward. You don't want to miss out on this action-packed episode. And we're back, and of course, we're here to talk about part 2 of the NBA Finals, as it's going on right now. It's going down right now in Dallas. They got Mahomes, they got Brittany there, they got everybody down there. But what's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
Another call from Joffey, ready to call it how I see it.
That's right. We're here to do our thing, and we're here to talk some NBA Finals. So we got the game going on right now. It looks like a better game than the other couple games, but you know, right now Dallas is giving Boston giving them a run for their money. But coming into this game without Porzingis, how do you guys feel like this could affect Boston moving forward? I'll start with you, G.
Porzingis to me is big. I know people bang on him about how much time he misses, but his effect when he's on the court to me is it's huge. So I tend to always look at what a player's capability or upside is. I understand he's hurt a lot, but when he's on the court, man, he can make things happen defensively and offensively. So I'm big on Porzingis. So his absence is going to be felt.
I agree. I mean, it could even show out tonight where, you know, it could be a deterrent factor. But I feel like Mazzulla was kind of already like shifting towards the direction of like preparing a team without him, as he said in like one of the press conferences. So, and for like the most part, like you're saying, G, like he hasn't been there. Like, I mean, he's been there, but like, you know, it's always been a factor with Porzingis. It's just a matter of, yeah, you're great, you're a unicorn, and we know your skill set. It's incomparable to anybody else. But like your question is availability, and that's the most important thing.
When is he going to get hurt is the question. It's a shame to think that, but it's just like when.
Yeah, I mean that's like when you look at that guy, you're like, when?
I'm serious. That's what it's become.
It's really
like it stinks because he's talented.
I know.
But yeah, it's a factor. Always a factor.
Even the injury that he has now, it's just rare, and like I forget the name of it, but like just reading about it, it's like it almost affects his whole body moving forward. Like
it's a big man thing. They were talking about. They were bringing up how foot injuries and lower body injuries, just big guys' bodies aren't, you know, built to run up and down on court like that. It takes its toll.
I agree, and you definitely see his body breaking down, which is like a shame because you know it like the skill set and the talent involved here, it definitely, like you said, makes a big difference. But
he's a player.
He is. He was almost like generational type of talent here, like coming out of Latvia and everything, and just.
Serious. When you look that stuff up, though, he was a player.
Yeah, he came out when he came onto the Knicks, man, he was storming, and now to see where he is in his career, it's just like it just kept nagging and nagging to the point where it is now. And I hate to see a player like Wemby have to go through something like that. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully
it's just a matter of time. You hope not, but
I agree. So Jay, what do you think about Drew Holiday in this series?
Drew Holiday's he's just proven why they got him. He's going to be a defender who can guard 1 through 3. And in the last game you saw, he scored 26 points. He can score when you need him to. Up until today, I think Tatum's been struggling a little bit shooting the ball. So Holiday, in the last game especially, picked up the slack. It wasn't all dumped on Jaylen Brown.
Right.
You know, the Porzingis effect is big, though.
It is.
He stretches the floor. That's big, because you take Lively away from the rim. And on the defensive end, he's shutting Lively and Gafford down. He's keeping people away from the rim. So I think his absence should be felt. But with the emergence, like, you know, Drew Holiday's play picking up now.
Yeah.
It's for Boston. Hopefully, it just minimizes the absence on both ends of the floor.
I agree full-heartedly. Also, his rim presence around the rim has affected Kyrie, at least those couple games. You know what I mean? Kyrie hasn't been able to do exactly what he wanted to do going to the rim, given the time that they've been both on the floor together. It's interesting to see how things are going to match up. I mean, right now, it's really pretty neck and neck. But even like in game 2, things were neck and neck until the second half started. I give that more as an attribution to Boston just shooting bad in the first half. But it seems like this game, it's being more played back and forth. So we'll see how things kind of shape out here.
Boston has the horses to pick up for Porzingis. If Brown and Tatum seems to be having a nice game. I think they have the horses to be able to pull out one here. I'm rooting for Tatum. That's where I'm at. People still throwing shade at him, man. I know he's struggling a little bit, but it's coming. The Tatum game is coming.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, as players, you just got to... Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just got to feel out things that are going around you, too. And plus, like, the way Dallas is sculpted right now, it's like they just have their guards and then they have, like, perimeter defense players. So, like, it's kind of... You got to give it some time to, like, see how things, pop up and start flowing together as a team. So, we shall see. But, I mean, overall, like, I still think this is going to end in 5, maybe 6. So...
6 being generous.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because you know what? I'm putting it out there, man. I got a broom right here. I'm about to pull it out. I mean, why not? Because everybody's so up on Dallas, and I'm thinking, you know what? I hope Boston shows. I'd love to see them sweep them, man. I know everybody wants the gentleman's sweep. Oh, Dallas will get one at home. Nah, man, the better team. I'm just rooting for the better team, or who I think is the better team. And yeah, let's get them out. Let's get them out.
Yes, bring them out. Bring them out.
You know?
I mean, definitely in the realm of possibilities. So, hypothetically speaking, I want to spin this another way. If they sweep out in the future of Boston, like, where do they move going forward? Like, do you just kind of keep the same type of team, or you know what I mean? Like, I'll start with. I'll go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, G.
Yeah, Porzingis being the X factor, of course, his availability, but you can't mess with Tatum and Brown, in my opinion. There was a narrative at one point to break that up. Come on, man, that could be special. I think Brad Stevens has a good grip on what's going on. He knows. I think he'll be able to build on top, keep Jalen and Tatum where they are, make them comfortable. I think Tatum's coming up on getting a deal at some point.
Yeah.
So they're both. You got the core, man. Don't mess with it. Just tinker around the outside.
Right.
Keep that core the way it is. You know.
Right. I agree. I mean, they definitely this year, and to credit to what you're saying, they kept those two, and then they added other pieces around them, adding Drew Holiday, adding Porzingis, having guys like Pritchard start to step up, and you have Al Horford, who's a pro's pro. So and he knows how Brad Stevens just orchestrated a team together like this and forced it, and even Derek White stepping up has been huge for that team. So that team is where it needs to be, and I'm not here to shame someone doing their job, but honestly, I put this more on Brad Stevens putting the team together than Joe Mazzulla coaching, honestly, because I mean, I understand
they both have a role. They
both
have a role. They were talking about back in the day how owners own the team. The GM was the GM and the coach coached. And as long as you know your role, I mean, Brad Stevens definitely's got to get his shine.
Yes.
But Mazzulla, when it's out there in the lines, he's the boss, man.
Yeah.
He's running that. So I give him his props too.
He is orchestrating things. But what do you think, Jay?
Going forward with Boston,
yeah.
Porzingis is going to be the X factor, like Glenn said. What do you do as far as his health and future availability? Because you're not going to keep getting through the East and getting to the finals with questionables play down low.
I agree.
Al Horford's in his 17th, going on 18th season next season. They might want to look into at least a younger backup future starter in their eyes. Because Porzingis is great when he's there, but it's when are you there?
I agree. I mean, I
think the core is Tatum, Brown, and honestly Holiday for now, but you still have White who's he's there.
Right. Their backcourt is there. They need to just, if they can figure out their front court moving forward, they'll be solid for years and years to come, honestly. Because dude, let's think about it. They threw in Aaron Baines, they threw in freaking Robert Williams, they threw those guys and put them into the dirt. And now they're in a position where they are now, and they're gonna win the title. And moving forward, they just have to plan accordingly to keep this core intact, which should seem easy enough given what they already have.
You would think too, Tatum and Brown, they're just in their prime. They're still, think about it. They may not even be there yet.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
My question would be this though: you're gonna have two players with $300 million salaries. How much can you dig? How much past the luxury tax are you willing to go?
Yeah.
If you look at teams that have been above it for so long, like Golden State, that are trying to get under it now.
Right.
How long are you going to be willing to pay that luxury tax to get there? But that being said, I think that's where the Porzingis' contract is going to be
the key
part of the discussion.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it's like you said, it's gonna be definitely part of the discussion. It's hard to argue how much he's really worth anymore. I mean, the only thing you can really argue, we know the skill set, like we said, but the availability is the biggest question with him. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they move and construct that moving forward. If he's a piece or if they let him walk. Because he, like you said, he spaces out the floor great. He does. He's kind of almost meant for this type of team that's just going to be chucking up threes like that. You know what I mean? his game complements this really well. So it's going to be interesting to see. But, like, this has been a long time coming for the Celtics. They should probably already have 2 or 3 rings by now, honestly. But, you know, it's been a long time coming, and now they finally got everything to where it needs to be, and they are where they are.
They're going to get it rolling now. Now they're going to get it rolling after they sweep the Mavs. So it's coming.
It's definitely on the table right now. So we'll see how tonight plays out as we're about to run into halftime. So we'll see how things go out. But you know, it's gonna I want to say, like, I almost wanted a better finals, like, because we're talking sweep and everything, but I guess it just gotta give an attribution to where Boston is, and gotta give them the praise as much as I don't want to do that.
Right. I mean, the longer the series, the more content they give us to talk about. I mean, that's comes with. But you know what, though? I always root for. I mean, I root for greatness. I love to see what Boston did this year. Their season was insane.
It was.
So you know what? Let's do it. Let's get them out. Let's get them out.
And, like, the whole arguments of, like, them having the easiest schedule and everything involved is just, that's just how things turn out sometimes. We can.
It's not their fault they're in the East.
No.
Hey, who's on the schedule?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's like, who's up? Who's next? Let's get ready. Let's go. Take on the day.
We gotta play Charlotte 4 or 5 times. Okay.
Thank you.
It's like just like everybody else does. You just play them at different times.
Right. Exactly.
And then it's just the nature of the beast even coming into the postseason. So you catch teams when you catch them. So. Exactly. People want to argue about injuries and all that other hoopla. It comes with the game. So, and then as it shows that they were affected by injuries too. So you give what you take. Yeah, exactly. It's the nature of the beast. So we have to you have to give kudos to the Boston Celtics as much as I don't want to do that.
I know it's not easy,
but it is what it is. We got to call it how we see it.
Where it's there, call it how we see it.
That's right. But I'm gonna wrap it up. I appreciate y'all coming on, and. We'll see next week if Glenn's fruition of a sweep happens.
Y'all be safe, fellas. Have a good night now.
Absolutely. I'll talk to y'all. Thank you. So here we go, right? I've been talking mostly NBA finals, but now I actually want to talk about the finals that I felt have been more enjoyable to watch, and that is the Stanley Cup Finals. Oh yeah, that's right. Right now, we have the Florida Panthers up 2-0 against the Edmonton Oilers, right? And it's been very interesting to watch as we are watching Florida impose their will. It has only been 2 games. They've been playing at home. Now things shift over back to Edmonton as both teams take that 7-hour flight back up to Edmonton to play this game, and Florida's 2 wins away from winning their first Stanley Cup, which would be pretty crazy as they were in the finals last year and they were gentlemen swept by the Las Vegas Golden Knights, who won their first Stanley Cup. So I would think that coming into this game 3 that the Florida Panthers are going to have the weight of most of Canada on their shoulders, as Edmonton has the backing of most of Canada, and Canada is starving for a Stanley Cup as they have not won a Stanley Cup since 1993. So it's been a while, and yes, Canada is pressing. But they are down 0-2, and by 0-2 I'm talking about the Edmonton Oilers. So they need to wake up. They've only scored 1 goal in 6 periods of play, and a big reason of why they're having a difficulty on the ice, including their 2 star players, 3-time MVP Connor McDavid and his running mate Leon Draisaitl, are having so much problems because of one man, and that one man is Alexander Barkov. Alexander Barkov, even iterating something that Wayne Gretzky said earlier this postseason, is one of the best 2-way players he's seen in a long time, and this includes back to when he was playing. So to hear such high praise from the great one about one player, that's really saying something, because last postseason Alexander Barkov was under a lot of fire for not producing, but it seems that he has woken up and he is producing at the highest rate that even most Panther fans did not even expect him to come back to. Barkov has been smothering Connor McDavid. He has been smothering him. He's been his shadow. Anytime that he's been on the ice, Paul Maurice has been putting him back on the ice. It's been a matchup that has been causing a lot of disruption for the Edmonton Oilers, and it's part of the reason why they haven't been able to score. McDavid has been putting up shots, as I believe he has 9 shots, and his running mate Leon Draisaitl has 6 shots, but to no avail. It's not working. But it has frustrated this first line of Edmonton so much to the point where on game 2 in the 3rd period with 9 minutes and 28 seconds left to go in that 3rd period, Leon Draisaitl took a cheap shot and aimed for Alexander Barkov's head and was given a 2-minute minor for roughing. Unfortunately for the Florida Panthers, Alexander Barkov was taken out of the game. So, with all that, a couple days passed, and now, on this Wednesday, the Florida Panther fans got the news they wanted to hear as they heard that Alexander Barkov was practicing today, and Paul Maurice assures that he will be ready to go for Game 3. So, to see how this affects Barkov moving forward, it's going to be very interesting. The pressure is on the Edmonton Oilers, not just from Canada, but just overall in the hockey world, the pressure is on. They are going back to the Roger Scott Arena in Edmonton. They are 6-3 in that arena, but I mean, records are not, give or take. The Florida Panthers have been outstanding outside their house as well, as they are 6-2 on the road, posting a 0.750 winning percentage outside their own house. So they can win. The lone goal that was scored by the Edmonton Oilers in that first period of the second game was by a defenseman on a 4x4 play, as both teams were playing 4x4. Edmonton is having a hard time as Florida is putting up a big wall. Basically, their forwards are coming down and forechecking, and it's creating a lot of disruption for passing and movement of the puck by the Edmonton Oilers. And after that forechecking, it's able to have their defensemen end up crashing the walls, which is, like I said, disrupting a lot of what Edmonton does, as they are a team built on speed and trying to move the puck around at high frequency. So you have to give Florida's defense a lot of credit, and it's been immaculate. Their last 5 games, they've only given up 2 goals. So they have, critiqued it to the way where it works for them and imposes its will on the other team. Edmonton, coming into the Stanley Cup final, they were number 1 in the power play. And this advantage right now, after 7 tries, they're 0-7. So coming in at a 37.8 percentage of the power play in the Stanley Cup Finals, it's just been non-factor at all, and it's going out the window. The Panthers are just tough, man. They have shown all year that they are on a revenge tour after what happened last year, and they really went through the gauntlet this postseason, as they beat their rivals and bigger brother, the Tampa Bay Lightning. They were able to beat last year's President's Cup Trophy winner, the Boston Bruins. They're able to beat this year's President's Trophy winner and almost a wall in Igor Shesterski and the New York Rangers. They really went through the gauntlet. And don't get me wrong, Edmonton had a tough series with Dallas, and also being able to beat the Canucks in the round before. They did not have an easy road as well, but when it comes into it, it just looks like Florida really wants it. Game 3 will be a tall stepping stone to see where both teams are moving forward in this series. But I really just believe that Florida has what it takes to keep imposing their will. If Edmonton was to find some type of chink in Florida's armor, they would have to find it by moving more in the middle of the ice, I think, and taking advantage of Florida being so aggressive on defense. With Florida having forwards looking to forecheck, like I was saying, and their defensemen pinched down on the wall, they can find open holes, but they need to move the puck more into the neutral zone from the defensive zone. The wall that I'm talking about, it broke down even though this is the lone goal that Edmonton was the scorer, and it was on 4-on-4 play. Ekholm, that scored the goal, the defenseman, him being able to go right up the wing, and the double team going on Connor McDavid gave an open space for Ekholm to go up there and shoot the puck and get in the net, which showed that they can break the wall. If Edmonton can get past Florida's first wave of forecheckers, it will set them up with better opportunities. Just getting out of the defensive zone, like I was saying, and into the neutral zone will leave a lot of things more open for them. This will create an outnumbered situations in favor of Edmonton if their forwards can get behind them. So that's the main key, and if they can get through this wall, then their green light will turn on and possibly start putting the puck in the net. So we shall see, and keep an eye out for that. Overall, Edmonton's a fast team. They need to use their speed. They need to use it to their advantage. That's a big part of the reason why they got here. So we shall see. Time will tell. I'm definitely intrigued by this matchup. I've just really been intrigued with the NHL this year. It's definitely back on the up. Flyers winning and having a good season, even though they came up short going into the wasn't able to make it into the postseason. It opened my eyes back into hockey, and I really miss the sport. like I said, I'm rooting for Sergei Bobrovsky, as he was a former Flyer. And I'd like to see the Florida Panthers win this. I do. I think that they can win it in 5 games. I think Edmonton will pull off a win. I don't know if it's going to be from Game 3 or in Game 4, but I think it will look similar to what's going on in the NBA Finals, as it will be quick work, maybe possibly a gentleman's sweep, but time will tell. But overall, to the Florida Panthers right now, I think this is the best team they've had in their franchise history, even better than the team they had last year. They're not asking as much from Matthew Tkachuk, as he is backed up onto the second line now, but them and having Barkov excel to where he is now, and it really is giving them that extra push that this team really needs, because his skill set is really impeccable to the point where not many other players on the ice can really match up to what he does. So it's going to be very interesting, but I really think he is the true key to Florida winning. If he's not 100%, it might be an issue, but overall, if he's on the ice, I feel that they have a great chance to win, and they should win, even if he's not 100%, because roster to roster, the Florida Panthers have the better team. They do. From Ekblad on defense, from Sam Bennett to Sam Reinhart to, like I said, Matthew Tkachuk. Even Evan Rodriguez has been putting up goals this series. It's just been really good stuff to watch by them, and they're being really good collectively. So we shall see how things turn out. I will be tuned in, and I think y'all should give hockey more of a chance, because it is a great sport to watch. And that's just me calling it how I see it. So, right now, I am here to talk to y'all about something I have not talked to y'all about on this show, and that is about football. And no, I have talked a lot about NFL football, but I'm talking about soccer. And my beef is a domestic problem, actually. My beef stems with the coach of the men's national team, and that guy is Greg Berhalter. Yes, I have a bone to pick with Greg Berhalter. I've actually had a bone to pick with this guy for a couple years now. I have. USA Soccer has been somewhat on the rise, even though it seems like it's just plateaued to stay where it's been the last century. But back in 2018, after Bruce Arena failed again as another stint as the USA head coach, the committee felt that it was the right move to hire Greg Berhalter, former men's national team player. Not really much of a winner. Coached in the MLS, coached the Columbus Crew, right? But his credentials checked out to the point where the committee felt comfortable enough to bring in Greg Berhalter in 2018. Greg Berhalter was in the line to inherit one of the best USA teams ever, right? He was in line to inherit many players that play overseas, have contracts with big leagues in Europe. So, with the right components, there's a lot of hype that started to build back around USA Soccer for the men's team, as the women's team has dominated for almost 2 decades. It's only been newer to the men's side of qualifying in the World Cup, becoming somewhat of a team that can make it to the round of 16. But like I iterated in the last World Cup, USA played very conservative, a conservative style of soccer. It did not win. They drew a lot of ties and was able to point into the group that they were in to make it to the round of 16, where they eventually played the Netherlands, and they lost. So, I have a beef with the clown that is Greg Berhalter, right? My first beef is this team, ever since the last World Cup, has not grown. It still seems to be the same team that disappointed us before, and it still seems to be the same team that disappointed us this past weekend against Colombia. Yes, given they did tie tonight in an international friendly tune-up game for the Copa America against Brazil, I can give you some credit, but if you would have won the game outright, maybe I would give you even more credit. Berhalter is still under contract till 2026, and it should be an interesting watch to see how this team does moving forward, where this team is at moving forward before we host the World Cup, as North America is slotted to host the next World Cup. So, every game up until that World Cup matters for this team. It matters a lot. Currently, they are the 11th ranked FIFA team in the world. It's still very debatable. The talent is definitely on the roster. There's no doubt about that. But coming up this summer with the Copa America Cup coming up, there's no reason that this team, with everyone that they have on it, should not qualify for at least a semifinal in this Copa America. Our talent is just way too good. All right, we have our our captain from our last World Cup, who is still on our team and has grown with more experience, Christian Pulisic. Won the Champions League title 2 years, like not the past year, but the year before, and also led AC Milan this year in goals. Great player right there. You have Gio Reyna. You have McKinney playing in the Premier League. You have guys on this team that are ready to play and show. To lose 5-1 to Colombia in Washington, D.C., and to have 5 of your 11 starters play over in Europe on top 5 contracted clubs, there's no reason you shouldn't win that game, especially against a Colombian team that is still led by James Rodriguez. Unexcusable loss. But yes, friendly international play. So when Berhalter first came in 2018, USA was 25th in the world, and so to his argument, to shoot up to 11 would be a win. But on paper, that shows good, but physically on the eye exam, it does not. So on top of that, they haven't beat any team ranked above them. They have only beaten 3 of the top 40 teams, and one of those wins is only in a competitive environment. So they kind of have their work cut out for them in this Copa America. They're going to have to possibly beat Uruguay, Colombia, and even possibly Brazil. They have an uphill battle in this Copa, but this is what they're for, and this is what tests are made of. So it is great to see how this team will match up in the Copa and how they will continue to go uphill moving forward up until the World Cup. USA has to show that they want it. Last weekend, Colombia just outright wanted that game, and they won that game because they showed it that they wanted it. Other countries likewise, when they see America start popping up now, especially with their FIFA rankings being as high as it is, a lot of teams are going to take cracks at America and really try to see how good America is. America hasn't done anything. They haven't earned anything, really. So the mindset of these American soccer players now, at least coming into the Copa America tournament, they should look at this tournament like it's a must-win. They should push every limit and have the team come out that they're destined to be. Whether if it is with Greg Berhalter, to be determined. There's still a lot of animosity with Greg Berhalter. There's accusations of him putting his hands on his wife. There's accusations of him beefing with players like Gio Reyna. There's a lot of turmoil surrounding Greg Berhalter. I am not a fan of Greg Berhalter. I felt we should have went outside of the country to get a coach, but the committee chose Berhalter, and they are sticking with him for now. But if America falls flat on their face in the Copa America tournament, I do believe that Greg Berhalter will be relieved of his duties, and this team will be in need of a good coach to direct them in the right direction for the World Cup, so they do not fall on their face in the World Cup. Time will tell, but I don't like you, Greg. I don't. So either you put up and make me start liking you, or you got to go bye-bye. So you decide how you want to use this team, because this team is ready to win. It depends on you on how you want to coach. So we will see. But until then, enjoy.